us. Okay, good morning. And this is the advanced ethics class, and we will meet Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock. And I'm excited that you're here. And so I'm hopefully you're going to leave here with some great information. And most of my students seem to enjoy this class, so hopefully you will. We can't look at every chapter in this book. But it's a great book, and it's worth our efforts. It's going to show you what the book looks like. You do need the textbook, so be sure that you get your copy. It's the ethics book, Theory and Contemporary Issues by Barbara McKinnon and Andrew Falea. But you will need that for your quizzes, and there are assignments that you'll read to do your discussion boards. So let me encourage you to get that as quickly as possible. So that is the textbook. I warn you up front that the textbook is like reading concrete. It is tough reading, but you know, one of the interesting things about philosophy and ethics and things like that, when I first started, I started in 1975 at Clemson. My minor was philosophy and religion. And to be honest with you, philosophy and ethics didn't mean a whole lot to me at 18. I went back at 50 to finish that degree and that minor. And it was amazing how a little bit of life experience had changed my perspective on life. And I think that's part of what you'll get out of this course. Maybe some things you'll have to put on the shelf and say, well, I'll have to wait till I experience that to understand it. But other things you will get a lot of things out of. We're going to talk about things like abortion and about capital punishment and global warming and religion and all these things in this class. And I think you will find it to be very instructive. I want you to, though, as I said that about the book, I want you to make the attempt to read the book. You're better for, it having run through your mind, because somewhere down the road, it'll come back to you and you'll remember that something you read in this book is as tough as it is. Some chapters are easier to read than others, and I'll tell you which ones they are as we go along. But I do want you to make the effort. I had an old pastor years ago that was pastoring out. I was a pastor for 20 years, so I have a lot of preacher stories. But he went out to visit this old farmer one day, and it was muddy and been raining, and he was digging potatoes. And he had this old hamper basket sitting there, with the holes in it and everything. He was putting potatoes in, and the old farmer looked at the pastor and he said, "Pastor, say I can understand the Bible. I struggle, try to read it, don't understand it." Pastor thought for a moment. He said, "I'll tell you what." So take that basket down to the creek, fill it up full of water. And the farmer kind of looked at him and said, "Wow, he said the basket will hold water." So anyways, he said, "Well, go do it anyway. Humor me." So he takes the basket down the creek, fills it up full of water. He comes back with the basket, and sure enough, the water's run out of all the holes. He said, "Now go do it again." So he kind of shaking his head. He goes and does it again. He said, "Now go do it the third time." Third time he comes back, he said, "See, Pastor, I told you this basket will not hold water." He said, "Yeah, that's true, but look at the basket. It's cleaner for the water having run through it." Well, that is kind of the same idea with this textbook and with what we talk about. A lot of the stuff you may not be able to hold on to, but a lot of you will have it to come back to. Whatever goes into your brain, your mind will be there. So there are going to be a lot of very deep subjects here, and you're going to get to, in the first week, write your own ethics statement, what I call your non-negotiables. Where do you draw the line in your life? What will you not do for money or for prestige or career or whatever? Those things I want you to think about this week and put them into this document because they're very important. We'll come back and review those on the last week after we've studied some ethics and see if there aren't some things you want to add to it, or maybe some things you want to change. So you'll get an opportunity to kind of shape and mold your thinking a little bit during this course. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have been teaching at Valley's since 2015. I am a professional student. I have been in school since for 57 years. I'm 65. So when I started first grade, I have constantly been in school ever since, and I am completing my 10th and my final degree this year. God willing, when the year ends, I will have finished my coursework for the PhD in history, be working on my dissertation, and hopefully we'll finish that. I fully intend to retire from going to school. I won't promise that, but I intend to retire at the end of that and just write and teach or whatever. So I'm a professional student. I came from South Carolina. I'm as far back in the woods as you could. It's just amazing what I've lived through in 65 years. I mean, we started with no indoor plumbing when I was born. I was born on what used to be the Cherokee Indian Reservation, and then moved out. And from there, I've traveled all over the world and taught for years, pastored a church for 20 years, did mission work in the Philippines, and worked with headhunters and smuggled Bibles into Russia. I've done a lot of stuff. And hopefully this year in December, I'm hoping to go to the Philippines and to Thailand. For Philippines, it'll be a revisit. I spent a lot of time there. Thailand, I'm visiting some friends that I am going to see there. So hopefully that will be helpful. So we're working on an introduction then to the class. Let me say to you that hi Ashley, how are you? We're actually taping, so if you'll hold your questions to the end so we don't have anything on the tape that you might not want on the tape, I'll be glad to answer your questions when we turn the tape off. So let's talk about class. A lot of you have had me before. There's a major difference that I want you guys to get hold of that I have made the change with this class. I taught way too much last period, too many students, and it became readily apparent that the way I was doing some things with extensions and being too lenient with you about getting work done, it wasn't for your good or mine either. Because people tend to be humans and they tend to take every inch of the rope you give them. And no matter how much extension I give people, they still are going to be Sunday night, 1 hour from the deadline, finishing. That is just not a good practice. So I have a new grading policy, which is in the expectation sheet. Be sure you see that in red. Be sure that you sign off on that. And that's a part of what you're doing today. The only thing required today is that you do the day one quiz, which says, have you read the syllabus? Have you read the expectations? Do you understand? Do you have your textbook? That kind of thing. There's just a really easy quiz, but it is an attendance marker for you in the class to say that you're here and that you are active in the class. So be sure you do that today. It closes tonight at midnight. It's only 1 point. It is a extra credit point. It doesn't affect your grade. But it does affect your attendance. That's another thing we have to think about. This class is not mandatory, but it is mandatory that you are doing things through the week to show that you are in attendance. So if you're not meeting the class every morning, you need to be posting things to your turn-in materials to prove that you're active in the class, or you're going to get dropped. So let me encourage you. The attendance is not the only thing in this class, but you need to be doing, it's a both and thing. If you can come to the class, it will greatly help you. If you are turning stuff in as we go through the week, that is a better marker. And please let me know how I can help. You have my phone number on the Moodle page, and you have my email. You can call me anytime. So don't let things go without responding. That's my big deal. I'm on the site 30 minutes early in the morning. I will stay with you after we shut down as long as you need me to answer questions. I do not put my stuff up and hide from you. I don't run from you. And once I've graded things, I always leave feedback. So go back and see what the feedback is. Why did you lose points? And remedy that in week 2 and in week 3. It's about learning. It's about being, realizing, hey, I need to do this correctly. And now, the other thing about writing, there is a writing requirement sheet. There are certain things that I'm trying to get everybody on the same page with. You come from a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different English teachers. And if you're blessed to have one good English teacher, you're lucky in your high school career. But there's some things about college writing that you need to get down. Some of you are already at the end of your your career, academic career, but you're going into professionalism. They expect you to write and to operate a certain way. So look at that sheet, the writing expectations. I'll show it to you on Moodle, but you need to have a cover sheet for your 2 writing assignments every week. You should use double spacing. You should indent every paragraph. If you're going to number your pages, which you should technically do, anything over a page, you don't put a number on your cover sheet, but you start with page 2 of page 2. And those are fairly easy things that we'll go over. So don't freak out over that too much. Let me show you a screen. Well, I'll show you the class. Let me say this as well about Moodle. I realize that some of you may have not had Moodle or not used it very much. If you don't have any clue how to do Moodle, you probably need to go to the school and get some help about if you don't know how to save documents. And I say that not to be dismissive, but I have more and more students who don't have a lot of computer skills. That's one of the things that you need to work on is your computer skills, because they are very, very important. And they are vital to your survival in the world that we live in, not just in school. I mean, you can't even fill out an application at Walmart now without computers. So let me encourage you to do your best with that. You will find an announcement here each week, just a welcome announcement. This is your participation rubric, how you get participation points. This is your rubric of the discussion boards. Go and look at those when you do a discussion board to be sure that you've met the requirements. This is APA format, which is APA is the format you use in your field. Now, there are different things. Some of you came from an English background where you have that little thing of putting your name, your class number, all that up in the upper left-hand corner. Erase that from your mind. You will never use that again. This APA format means a cover sheet for anything of a page or length. Okay. The thing about plagiarism, you can read this. Be careful that you don't borrow from other people, that you don't steal their work, their thoughts, their ideas. And then here is my information. You can call me anytime. You don't have to go by office hours. I put those in there just so that there are some there. But here's my phone. You can text me. The thing you need to remember when you text me is all I see is a phone number, and I cannot tell who you are. So please tell me what class you're in, and then I'm more than happy to answer your questions. This is the syllabus. This is the Bible for the course. If you want to know how much each thing in the grading counts for the total, please go look at the syllabus. This is the course expectations that I told you about. And I'm going to open this. I think I'm going to open this. Yeah, looks like I'm going to open this. Okay, can everyone see that? Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Good. Slowly, there we go. Okay, so this is the document about expectations. You can read through this. It has a lot about discussion boards, about what you need to do about writing and how much is considered proper. And then this is the part that I wanted you to miss. Before, I've been fairly lenient in the past on getting work done. That has got to end. So here's the new deal. For those of you who've had me before, those of you that are new, it won't matter as much to you. But I'm probably known as the most lenient teacher alive in people getting their work in. But I can't do that with the number of students I have now, and it is not good for you, because you've got to learn to meet deadlines. Now, let me say this to you out of a true heart. Of someone who's gone to school for 57 years, ought to have some experience in going to school. When you get up to go to school, the devil does not care what you do, as long as you sit in the chair and watch TV. But you get up and say, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to get a degree. Every demon in hell is going to come against you. Some of you have experienced that. Your dog gets run over by a car. Your child is sick. Your husband or your partner's sick or whatever. But you've got to learn to work through problems. They cannot become the thing that stops you and slows you down. You have got to learn to multitask through that. And me giving you more and more time, it doesn't help that. I know we think it does, but it just piles up. In a 3-week course, it's a turn and burn. you realize that this course is probably an 18-week course in the average college. So we're doing it in 3. So we have to move. So anyways, the new rule is that all work is due on Sunday night at midnight. Okay. So next Sunday night, you need to have both discussion boards. I'm going to show you all this, the 2 writing assignments and your quiz done by 12 o'clock. All right. I will give you until 6 the next morning. We'll use biblical time around about the 12th hour. But work turned in after Monday morning at 6 o'clock is going to be a 10% penalty. And then between Monday and Tuesday night, it goes to 20%. I will not take any work after Tuesday night. So you still have a little bit of a buffer, but it has to be that. I mean, I'm sorry, but this new policy will apply immediately. So be sure, if you've had me before, erase what you knew before, add what you know now. And this is the new reality we have to live by, because it's just absolutely, it was penalizing the student and me. You weren't, you know what, it wasn't helping you any. So that is the new reality here. We see how to get rid of this now. Okay, so we're back to here. All right, so, and then you got writing guidelines. Writing guidelines are the same thing I went over. You can open it. I'm not going to open it and read it, but you can read about, you know, what you need to have when you turn in a paper. This is a formal situation. Okay, so we have 3 weeks, and when you open your week 1, it's going to bring up down below a lot of new things. Week 1, this is your day 1 quiz. This has to be done today, as I said, and it's 1 point, it's extra credit, but it is your attendance marker. It assigns you into the course. It asks you things like, have you read the syllabus? Have you looked at the expectations? Do you have your textbook? So be sure you do that. This is a this is a video, a welcome video. Be sure you listen to that. Here is an opportunity for you to share with your classmates something about yourself. I don't think I put mine in yet because I was traveling, but I'll put mine in today if you want to know more about me. And then, you know, you got a week 1 lecture for the materials, and then you've got your learning materials. These are your slides, and that we'll go over each day. So there's many of those. And then you have TED Talks. TED Talks are the ability for you to get to hear a different voice other than mine. We're going to listen to a Muslim imam. We're going to listen to a Buddhist priest. You're going to get to hear the Pope speak, and then some other things. But TED Talks are always really, really good, and they're short and they're to the point. So be sure you listen to those. At the end of the week, if you just send me an email and say I've listened to all the TED Talks, that's all of the accountability you have to have on that. All right, in the green and the pink bubbles, you have the things that you have to turn in. These are deliverables. Notice this, deliverable. Notice the dates, Sunday night. Okay, so you have 2 discussion boards each week. When you open the discussion board, all right, you're given a scenario. In this instance, you read chapter 1, pages 9 through 11 of the book, which talks about ethical reasoning and arguments. And then you're going to write a document in Word. Now, listen to me carefully. I am not able to open pages on my computer. I'm not able, don't do it on notes. Try not to do it on your cell phone because it doesn't do the margins and all of the writing protocols. You cannot do on a phone what you can do on a laptop. Laptop would be preferable. I know some of you have pads. Pads will mess that up as well. The way to get around that, and hear me carefully, write your document and then save it as a PDF and upload the PDF. That way your margins don't change. If you keep it as a Word document and try to upload it, it's going to screw it up. And you'll start getting messages, you know, grading back that you missed the writing protocol. So just keep that in mind. That's the best way to get around that. So in this discussion board, you're going to talk about, you're just conversating about, you know, a decent paragraph. Remember that these things are all 100 point questions. Ask yourself, what do I have to write to be worth 100 points? That is not a 3-sentence paragraph. That is not one sentence. It is not short answer. You need to write a long enough paragraph to show that you've reflected on the subject. That's part one. You get 70 of the 100 points for your initial post. It should be spelled correctly. You should edit it. You should read it. In the discussion boards, you don't have to worry about indenting. You can write in block style, but skip a line between each paragraph in your discussion boards. That's going to be different in your papers, as we'll talk about in a minute. So you're going to do an initial post where you talk about it. Give me your opinion. Now listen to me. This is not a right and wrong answer. This is you thinking about what you're reading, talking about it, and putting something on paper. So there's not a right and wrong answer. If you will do the discussion board and do it properly, you can make your points. Also, you need to read 2 of your classmates' posts and respond to them with enough to be worthwhile. I'd say 75 words for that one. 100 words for the first one would be adequate, but be sure you're saying something. Do not just knock your brain out of gear and let your mouth idle. That is not what you're learning. You're making sense of the things you're listening to in our lecture, and you are responding to that. So that's how you get the 100 points for discussion boards. Always, never let anything come from your hand that does not hasn't been spell checked, and because this is your professional life, people judge you based upon how you write. And so be sure that you do a good job of that. So you have 2 of those. This one's on ethical thinking. The second one is on religion. Same way, when you open it, there is a blurb there for you to talk about, and so you respond to those. Let me encourage you to try to get the first one of both of these done ahead of Sunday night, because your classmates are waiting on something to respond to. I would encourage you to try to get the first one, your initial post, done by Wednesday, and this one by Friday. That way you're not holding them up. So do not wait till Sunday night to start your work. You will not do a good job, and you will not be proud of it. So you need to be working through the week, posting materials and getting attendance for that. But also, if you did, say, one exercise a day, you could end up on Thursday being almost done and have a very nice 3-day weekend. That's the best part of this course, is that we're off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where we only meet Monday through Thursday. So let me encourage you with that. Okay, first writing case here. Okay, this is a patient, this is a case study that you're going to read. You go to this link, read about it, and you're going to respond to this ethical quandary. It's about, is it ever right to deceive a patient and give them medicine against their will? You're going to do a 2 to 3 page double-spaced essay about your thinkings about that. I'd say 2 pages would be a plenty, or 1 3/4. But always remember, you need to have a cover sheet. You need to write in paragraphs. You need to indent each paragraph. There is no blank space. My pet peeve, as some of the ladies here will tell you, my pet peeve in the world is leaving a bunch of blank space wasted on paper. You start writing at the first line available on page 2. You don't have 15 spaces between each paragraph. You have none. That's what the indentation is for, to give you the break. So you don't need a space there. You're doing double space, and I'll be glad to go through in class tomorrow how you do your paging, your spacing, how you do page numbers. I'll give you a lesson in how to do that in Microsoft Office, which is really, really good and easy. Okay, so that's a 1-page paper with a cover sheet on, or 2 pages, I'm sorry, on patient autonomy and whether it's ethically right to deceive a patient or not. Your second document that you're going to work on is your ethics statement. That's this one. And of course, you do it in a Word document. Let me encourage you to set you up a folder for this class. Save a copy of everything you do and do it in this class. I'm going to take this template out. That doesn't work. Don't use that. I'll take it out immediately after this class. But so, think a little bit about yourself in order to introduce yourself to the reader. Where do you think you got your ethics from? Maybe you got them from your grandmother. Maybe you got them from your mom and dad. Maybe you didn't have any of those people, and you've learned through the years the things that you hold on to tenaciously. We all have those. We have things that we hold on to, that we live by. I often tell the nursing students, if you're violently against abortion, don't take a job working in an abortion clinic, because it will compromise your ethics. You will have all kinds of problems with that, and it won't be good. So that's what you're writing about here. And you upload, you make a submission, you upload your document, and so then you're free with that. So then the third thing is you have a quiz, which comes from the reading for the week out of the textbook, and it is 10 questions, multiple choice and true false. It is open book, and you get 2 chances to take the quiz. Okay. So that is, in a nutshell, the basic rundown on how to do this course. Give me just one moment, and let me end our tape for our friends, and then